What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you a World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This is going to be one of my matches in my VK48502B. Some people would argue this is an overpowered vehicle. I feel it's an appropriate vehicle considering there's been a lot of talk lately about how soon it will get replaced with the mouse chin, or however you say that. It's the prototype mouse, or the precursor to the mouse, whatever. Which will have a 15cm cannon at tier 9 on a heavy tank, so that's going to be interesting. But this match, I am platooned up with my buddy Gilthoniel, who I just call Gil, who last I checked, which was last I played, about a month ago or so, was in Esprit de Corps, no longer SAR. I am still in Fugitive, last I checked, although I've been inactive for about a month and a half due to life events and not being able to play due to bad internet connection. But that is neither here nor there. Now, some would say in Swamp, going to the north like I'm going, bad idea. And they can be right, but with the force we're pushing with, 2 IS-3s, an FV-215 Bravo, the T-49 scouting, which I'm not sure, is that Gil? No, Gil's in the 41 Bulldog. And an E-100 backing us up. Some would argue we have a decent chance of actually winning this. However, we'll see how well that actually pans out. The E-100 backing me up, and right now, our team's pretty evenly split. Gil looking to the south to try and spot. Got 2 T-49s grouped up there. It's usually a good idea for T-49s to run together so they can double tap anything, any scout tanks at the very least, do some damage. And right here, I recognize that, well, things aren't looking so good for us. We got an ST-1, my Russian armored foe, whereas I am going to be fighting an IS-7 and another IS-7, both flanking, fighting on 2 fronts. I do not like the way this looks at all, with the KV-4 further in the back. Now the 4202 also pushing up. Me and this IS-3 are just both like, nope, back it on up, not going to fight this. We cannot win. At least that's what we're thinking. And another... so there's a Leopard 1 over there, an ST-1, 2 IS-7s, a 4202, and I'm just like, yeah, they got us outgunned. Not gonna happen, so I'm gonna back it on up and then play very defensively. So it's one of those situations where I recognize we didn't really have the support to win. One thing to take note of in this match, no tank destroyers, except for our Waffenträger. I was talking more in regards to the enemy team. No enemy tank destroyers and no artillery for either team. Right here, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm just kind of looking to see if I can get a pot shot off on an IS-7 and hoping I can get a shot off on the 62A, which is another reason I should have been backing up. Now the 62A ricocheted a shot right off of his turret just like that. No big deal because, well, the 62A is quite well armored, especially at distance and hold down. Our team absolutely getting overwhelmed over there now. They're holding their ground for the moment, but without artillery support to help back them up, or any other sort of TD support available, they're kind of in a bad spot. Our team in the south doing a good job of holding off, well, what is pretty much no push, because the enemy team knows that pushing the south is even more ill-advised than pushing the north when you're on the west side. The 1-2 side, definitely not a good idea to push over. Now this Tiger 2, not scared of him at all. I'm going to take a pot shot here, aiming as best as I can with the low accuracy of World of Tanks. I've been playing a bit of Armored Warfare Beta, and man, have I been just spoiled by that accuracy now looking at these World of Tanks replays. But yeah, getting a good RNG roll on my accuracy there and managing to kill that Tiger 2, very happy with that. And if you're wondering why I have my lower plate exposed with my 4502 here, it's because that lower plate angled the way I have it angled is nearly impenetrable. Even gold rounds have a pretty good chance of bouncing off of that at this angle. So I'm actually intentionally trying to bait shots from the enemy team. Now, as you can see, things have even gone more downhill over on this flank with even more medium tanks pushing up and the vast majority of the enemy forces being on this side. I'm just trying to do my best to give my E-100 any sort of support I can, taking shots on what I can, and there we go, a solid hit on that WZ-120, but that E-100 is dead. There is no hope for him. He might get off one more shot before he goes, but I don't think that's going to happen. Nope, there he goes. And our team, very strong in the south. Now, the enemy team, ooh, that WZ not enjoying that hit at all. So the enemy team has a decision to make. Do they push into me, ST-1 push, damaging me in the track, but nothing else. All those shells, just hear those ricochets. Such a very delicious sound. Shooting that IS-7 in his lower plate and managing to get a solid pen. So far dealing about 1,600 points of damage, a little over, and the enemy team having a rough time getting through my armor because, well, I'm a 4502B. And again, I am intentionally baiting those shots to my lower plate, saying, come on, shoot me in my lower plate. You can get through that. Come on, give it to me. Now, that enemy IS-7, he did fire high explosive at me, but only managed to do 75 points worth of damage. I'm going to try to shoot him in his lower plate, but at the same time, I see a tasty medium tank target, and I want to shoot that. The WZ-120 deciding to fire heat and managing to get some damage off, but right now I still have a AMX-50B as support, WZ-120 bouncing that heat round, and the Leopard 1 ricocheting. So the enemy team trying their damnedest to get through my armor, not having a very good time of it so far. 13 shots taken at me, although I don't think that's 100% accurate. I think some of those are probably critical damage alongside of each other, but we'll see exactly how many shots I did take in post-game stats. Right now, that IS-7 actually managing to hit me for quite a bit with high explosive. That's a bit surprising. He must have hit me in a weaker armored spot, probably a hatch or something. And at this point, I'm doing my best to just hold up this enemy team and allow my team to provide me with support. The few number of enemy tanks have decided to push across. The WZ-120 still trying to shoot at me. And this IS-7, he's going to have a rough time ricocheting. I mean, doing anything but ricocheting my lower plate. I don't really have good shots on him. All I got is turret, and so I'm going to angle my tank a bit more and try and play a bit smarter. IS-7 shooting me in the track for nothing but track. And the enemy team, so far putting a good number of rounds into me. I'm still over half my health. Trying to stay as safe as possible while engaging this IS-7, who is just going to be completely hold down, provide me with nothing. I'm trying to shoot right underneath his gun mantlet there, and I actually managed to hit it. RNG gods favoring me once again, getting that damage. And that AMX 1390 saying, well, GG, the ST1 managing to penetrate me with a heat round, and more bullets coming my way. Don't want to back up too far and expose my soft sides, however. That is the one thing about this tank, is it has very soft sides, and it even enough so to where if you don't side scrape properly, you can get penetrated in them quite easily. So you have to be very aware of that while side scraping, which is actually why it's kind of better to just try and bait out the shots, which I'm still attempting to do here. This ST1 definitely doing his part to try and spot me. There he is. I'm gonna try and shoot for that hatch right here, but will get the penetration while he gets nothing. So far I've dealt over 4,200 hit points of damage. I've only taken about 1,000, a little over 1,000, and just doing my best to just hold up this enemy team on this northern pass all by myself. And again, one of the main reasons they don't want to push me is because they're afraid I have further support in the rear. Which is why the ST1 and the IS-7 actually were engaging me over on this flank, because they knew that from this angle they could only really get shot at by a limited number of vehicles. Still, one of those vehicles was me, and I know what I'm doing. I'm going to try and shoot him right there in the hatch. Will manage to get a penetration. I have switched to APCR rounds because I am fighting a well-armored target, which is the ST1. And he's also switched to heat rounds because he's fighting me. Although that last round, he's gone back and forth apparently between heat and AP. That heat round looking like it's going to get nothing done. There we go, wiggling back and forth. He did try and shoot that hatch, you can tell by that ricochet. And right now the enemy team just having the hardest time dealing with me. WZ-120 has switched to high explosive to try and kill me, but not before I kill his ST1 ally. So I'm going to try and back up here and get away. But the 4202 did manage to shoot me in those soft sides I was talking about. I backed up a little bit too far, and it did end up getting me killed. So our team not exactly able to provide me with enough support, and Gil dying roughly at the same time in his 41 Bulldog. He was doing a lot of spotting in the south, trying to give our team lights on things like that Leopard 1 and other stuff in the center. But at this point, our team has so many tier 10s, and the enemy team is hurting so much for their tier 10s. Right now I'm saying, LMAO, I can't believe I stalled them. Your push... I can't believe I stalled your push so long, held you long enough. And then the IS-7 saying, you did, but only because our IS-7 drowned himself. So apparently one of their IS-7s drowned. And you can't be penned frontally. It's insane. I can. It's just incredibly difficult. And it's actually better off trying to shoot the hatch on the turret, or that little bubble on the upper front plate, as you can see it right there slightly. Shoot the top hatch. Yep, and right there I'm just agreeing with what that guy said. Basically giving advice to his teammate who apparently did not know how to fight me. And that was the glorious thing after the nerf. I mean, the buff initially came out for the 4502 was just so many people didn't know how to fight it. And at this point, my team's just playing mop up. Only a few medium tanks and a light tank left to deal with. So a 49, a WZ, which I hurt quite significantly. And it looks like the Waffenträger, ooh, running the 15-centimeter cannon there. But he will die to that WZ-120, and our team going to mop up this match, so I was pretty happy with this one. It was a lot of fun for me just bouncing all those shots, and they're right. If that other IS-7, you can see where he died, Charlie 2, right in the river. If he hadn't drowned himself, they actually might have been able to push me and overrun me. But, yeah, the other IS-7 saying once he did that, they lost any chance of pushing on me, and he might be right. But, you know, such is the way of World of Tanks. But let's go to those post-game stats and see exactly how much damage I absorbed and bounced there. I'm kind of curious myself. I haven't checked out those stats in a long time. Just because I know we're all curious about this more than anything else, yeah, for all the shots I blocked, which was a total of 27 hits received, 16 non-penetrations, and a total of 7,240 damage blocked by my armor. I don't even know how much more that is than my hit points, but it's over 3 times. I can tell you that much. Total damage dished out, the most on my team, and I even managed to get 2 kills, which was tied with pretty much everyone else on my team. No one got the top number of kills. There was a lot tied for most, which was just 2 kills per person. So we're actually a pretty even kill spread there. Surprising, but it is funny how I did so much holding a flank pretty much by myself, just in a position where I knew the enemy tanks wouldn't want to really push, so it did provide them with a lot of hesitation, which I totally took advantage of. But overall, let's go back to the total personal score. Tanker Sniper, kind of surprising there. So fire at least 8 shots, accuracy must be at least 85%, at least 8% of the hits must cause damage, and cause damage from a distance of 300 meters, must exceed the hit points of the player's vehicle, at least 1,000 hit points. So there's a lot of things that go into Tanker Sniper. As you can tell, it's not exactly an easy award to get. Still, despite my performance, only a Mastery Badge First Class, I did get Ace Tanker on that tank, I believe, before I sold it for my mouse, which I do thoroughly enjoy. But we're going to just look at the enemy team. So most damage on both teams. No high caliber, though. Unfortunately, I don't know what the high caliber requirement was for that match. I wasn't paying attention exactly to what it was. Although if you look back at the earlier game footage, I think my mod will tell you exactly what I needed. So I just got a little bit short of it, I'm sure. But still, very solid performance by me, and overall made a decent amount of credits despite the number of APCR rounds I did end up slinging at harder armored targets, and a decent amount of experience as well as the ×2, so I'll always appreciate that. Just under 3,500. And always welcome anytime that happens. So I did get quite a few enemy vehicles spotted, a little bit of damage due to my assistance with that spotting. And a total of 14 shots fired, 12 of those being penetrations, and of course none of them splash because, well, I wasn't firing high explosive. Honestly, most of the time in heavy tanks, there's no good reason to. At least in this game. From what I've discovered in Armored Warfare, and I'm probably going to be talking about Armored Warfare a bit here and there as I do my commentaries now that I've started playing the early access, high explosive actually has a purpose in Armored Warfare, it seems. So, I mean, I could be wrong about that, but so far I am enjoying Armored Warfare. It's similar to World of Tanks, but it is at the same time significantly different. But still, very happy with this match's performance. Basically posted up in the north, and I was like, none shall pass, and I actually managed to do that because of, well, taking advantage of the enemy team's. Let's be honest, it was a very what's the word I'm looking for? It was very understandable, their hesitation, because a lot of times there are tank destroyers or other tanks sitting further back providing support on that flank. It's a nice big wide open field and you don't really want to push it that often. So the enemy team's hesitation was understandable, and it was very, you know, actually in most cases it would have been advisable, but you know, it's just one of those situations where I was able to completely post up and use and abuse my armor and bluff like I had team support, at least make the enemy team think I was relying on team support when in fact I pretty much had none. But anyway, remember, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you got a replay, be sure to send that to spanglereplays@gmail.com. Description and, instructions and link in the description below. There we go. And also, if you got any suggestions on how I can make my YouTube channel or videos better, please let me know in the comments below or via direct message. But until next time, this has been Spang, and I am keeping it oh so professional.
MLG.